I'm Jim Longworth. Welcome to another edition of Triad Today. Coming up later on, our infamous roundtable gets together. No telling what they're going to say, so stay tuned for that madness. But between now and then, some great topics and guest information coming your way. We'll talk about what's coming up at the Weatherspoon Art Museum at UNCG. We'll tell you all about a prosperity center that's doing great things. And we'll meet the new Winston-Salem police chief, all that and more. But first, we turn our attention to the serious topic of hunger and what's being done about it to try to alleviate it. We have three great guests with us. On my immediate right, our good friend who's been here before. Clyde Fitzgerald, of course, is CEO of the Second Harvest Food Bank in Northwest North Carolina. Next to him is the Honorable Alan Joines, Mayor of the City of Winston-Salem, and bringing up the rear, and I mean that in the most, in the nicest way, Eric, is Eric Aft, who is now the Chief Operating Officer of Second Harvest Food Bank, will be stepping in for Clyde when Clyde steps down next year. So we have a little transition thing going on here with that. Clyde, let me start with you. How prevalent is hunger in our area?
Unfortunately, it's very pervasive. We have more than 1 in 6 people in our region that are food insecure. They need food assistance every week. And unbelievably, more than 1 in 4 of the children in this entire region suffer from hunger. They go to bed hungry at night. We don't think anyone should be hungry, but certainly not a child.
Eric, the food bank is doing a lot of great things, and we take an hour to tell all the great things you're doing, but just give me a few examples of some programs, services, activities you're doing to try to alleviate this.
Well, what people most know about us is the foundational work where we're responding to hunger every single day through our 300 partner agencies across our 18 counties. And those are critical because that's providing food to families every single day of the week. In addition, we're responding to childhood hunger needs through our backpack programs as well as summer feeding activities. So we're reaching folks again across the entire region who are facing needs, and kids we're worried about the most so they can concentrate in school and make sure that they get the nutrition they need.
Now, Clyde, you sent me an email one day about the holiday season impacting on hunger. What do you mean by that?
Well, people who need food assistance always have that need for food. But at the holiday season, the people we serve kind of have a double hit. There's an emotional hit that comes at this time of the year because it's normally associated with food enjoyed with family and friends around a table. And if you don't have food or a table, you can't do that. And so there's an emotional hit that comes in that's very serious at this time of the year, in addition to the physical need for food.
I want to turn to Mayor Alan Joines now, and he is here sort of under false pretenses, not that he's not interested in this topic. He does a lot for homelessness and hunger and everything, but in all seriousness, he's also here as sort of a surprise. He has something that he wants to read, and I want to, Lori, our director, let's see if we can let Alan read this special thing here.
Clyde, we couldn't let you just slip out without doing something special for you, so I've issued a proclamation today. And whereas the Second Harvest Food Bank has been instrumental in combating hunger in the city of Winston-Salem and throughout an 18-county area of Northwest North Carolina. And whereas Clyde W. Fitzgerald, Jr. has served and led the Second Harvest Food Bank for 36 years and has developed a network of partner agencies to provide ongoing food assistance to those in need. And whereas through his leadership, Clyde W. Fitzgerald, Jr. has improved the quality of life for over 300,000 of our neighbors each year, including over 100,000 children annually. And whereas Clyde W. Fitzgerald is a model citizen and a valued member of this community, now therefore I, Alan Joines, Mayor of the City of Winston-Salem, do hereby claim today as Clyde Fitzgerald Day in the City of Winston-Salem, and I encourage all of our citizens to recognize him for the positive impact he's had on our community, in particular by helping to alleviate hunger for at-risk populations. And I signed it today, Clyde, and thank you for all you have done.
This is a tremendous honor. Thank you very much, Alan.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm deeply grateful for this right here.
Clyde, do you have anything that you can top that with? What's your? I mean, you've done a lot for the community. And
this is a surprise. This is recognition for the work of our food bank and all of the great staff and volunteers and board members that we've been blessed by having, and they make it all possible. It's been a real privilege for me to work alongside of all of those folks to try to make a difference in the lives of those who need some help getting food. And so my life has been blessed, and I have enjoyed tremendously trying to help people. And while I'll be giving up a title, I will never give up my passion for helping to feed people.
Well, Eric, I just want to turn to you for a couple quick seconds to close out. Any thoughts about Clyde's service?
Well, I think the proclamation says it all, and you hear the humility, and we see that every single day. The volunteers, the staff, the entire community has been blessed by the leadership that Clyde has provided to us all.
Well, congratulations to Clyde. Mayor Joines, thanks for slipping in and doing that.
Thanks for letting
Were
me
you
do that.
surprised?
Very much so, yes.
Well, we try to have surprises. It's near Halloween season. We try to have
There
a
you go.
surprise.
This is
And just as a quick disclaimer, we are actually taping this segment that we could get these guys together on Wednesday, October the 25th. So that's why this is Clyde Fitzgerald Day as proclaimed, Wednesday, October 25th. So if you're seeing the show on Saturday and Sunday, we're still celebrating it. We'll be right back after this. On Triad Today, and really pleased to have this guest with us to talk about some great work that he and his team are doing. On my right, Richard Totten is an employment specialist with Goodwill Industries of Northwest North Carolina. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you as well.
How's it going?
You know, I can't complain.
Well, I tell you what, I guess not, because you're doing such great work. Now, I want to talk about I mentioned at the head of the show, we're going to talk about the Prosperity Center. So I'm going to give you one of these like 2 or 3-parter type questions,
Okay.
and you roll with it.
Absolutely.
What I want to know is, for the folks at home, what is the Prosperity Center? Who does it serve? And what kind of programs and services does it offer? So roll with that.
Okay, so the Prosperity Center, to sum it up, we kind of like to get to the point with when we approach our people. We look at ourselves as a financial health clinic. When you deal with health, you're dealing with specific needs. So when an individual comes through our doors, we're looking to diagnose their financial need. So whether that's employment, whether that's financial education, a little bit of both. Our goal and our focus is to provide focused, concentrated services that really gives them the answer to the most important question most people ask, so what? And so one of the ways that we do that is through a variation of programs. Again, as I alluded to, we do financial education classes. We have a counselor that will sit with you one-on-one and provide some financial guidance. Of course, me and my team of employment specialists, we try to focus in on whatever vocational needs. So whether that's interviewing skills, whether that's applications, whether that's resumes, anything that will pertain to your financial health.
Well, what if I'm thinking about changing jobs, or I'm out of work or something like that? You're going to get some of your folks to sort of guide me in the right direction and tell me what the options are?
Absolutely. One of the biggest features of the Prosperity Center is our relationship with Goodwill. And of course, Goodwill we pride ourselves on job training. So our center will provide the more frontline based services, but if there is a desire and a need to transition, that's when we include that greater Goodwill umbrella of training and opportunity.
What are some of you've already mentioned a lot of things here. Let me backtrack for a second. What are some of the common financial challenges faced by the folks that you serve? What do you see that they have in common a lot of?
What we're seeing for a lot of people is really making their money work more for them. Most people go through the issue of just not having enough. But what sometimes people misunderstand or maybe miss in the process of evaluating is that it might not be that you don't have enough, it's simply how you manage it. So our goal is to kind of look at that, diagnose it. Is it that you don't have enough, or are you just not using it properly? Either way that answer comes down, we can provide guidance and assistance.
It really is, like you said, like a health clinic. It's like a financial health clinic, and it's fascinating the way you describe it. Now, what about employers, though? If employers are listening to this today, they said, well, you're helping folks who maybe need some help with financial education, but I'm an employer. I'm having trouble hiring. What are you doing to help me?
Well, that's one of our favorite conversations to have, because employers and potential employees are a pipeline. And the key to any pipeline moving properly is making sure that there's clear space. So what employees let us know is, what is the challenges? We'll ask that exact question. What are you getting? What's eliminating people? Is it background? Is it quality of skills or experience? So we have those, we welcome employers to give us a call. We're happy to screen for those individuals and help them cut out a lot of that extra work.
Just a couple seconds, very quickly. Tell me, what kind of impact do you think the center's having so far?
Well, the hope is that we are, as Goodwill focuses to do, is just to make the community better. We like to use the phrase, saving the world one resume at a time.
That's cool, Richard. All right, up on the screen, a couple websites I want you folks to look at, and the radio audience I'll mention this for as well. Prosperity-center.org, www.prosperity-center.org, and then the Goodwill website itself, the main one, goodwillnwnc.org, and I hope you will check those out. Richard, I'm proud of what you're doing, son.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here, young man.
Likewise, pleasure.
All right. We'll be right back. Now on Triad Today, I'm excited about having this guest here. She's busy as she can be, and we were able to snag her to come over here for the studio for a few minutes, and we're also very, very proud of her. I want you to meet her right now. On my right is Katrina Thompson. She is now the new police chief for the city of Winston-Salem. Welcome, Chief. Good to see you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And of course, we were big advocates for you on this show. We're glad you're in the position. You deserve it. And so congratulations aside, let me ask some just get-to-know-you type questions.
Okay.
How long have you been associated with the Winston-Salem Police Force?
So I'm proud to say that come this January, I will have completed my 24th year with the Winston-Salem Police Department.
You don't look but 24 years old. How can you, what did you do, start at age 3?
I'll pay you later.
Yeah, that's right. Now tell us, folks, where were you born?
I was born in Detroit, Michigan.
Detroit.
Detroit.
Now, how did you migrate down here? I mean, what was the deal?
So I realized that I didn't have to live in the cold, brutal winters of the Midwest.
Right.
And once I realized that, even though I have a very, very close-knit family, it didn't take me long to realize that no matter where I went, my family would join me at some point.
Right.
So I just started looking for careers, or basically law enforcement positions, in 3 different states.
Right.
And Winston-Salem was relentless and very, very professional about
Yeah, we were lucky to
recruiting.
get you. We were lucky to get. Now, what about your parents? Very quickly, what did your parents do?
So my parents were initially spent the majority of their career in the automotive. Chrysler fed me and educated me.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And then my mother, in 2002, my grandmother was basically really ill with cancer, and I also was expecting our first child. And 3 weeks before our daughter was born, my grandmother passed away.
Oh.
My mother had taken time out of work to care for her mom.
Sure.
And so she made a promise to her mother that she would help us with our child. And
Oh, that's just
I've
great.
had another child since then, and my mother's been with us since 2002.
How about that?
Yeah.
Now, who or what influenced you to go into law enforcement?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I started out at Wayne State University, and I attended the engineering program. And it didn't take me long to realize that this was not something that was a passion of mine.
And it would have taken me about a day to figure that out.
Fortunately, I had a sister my second year. She started her first year, and she was in communications. And she's one of the few people that I know since the very beginning wanted to be in communications, and she's living her dream.
Right.
And she was excited about her classes, and I wasn't. And fortunately, I was able to attend a seminar that one of the federal bureaus would providing.
Oh, okay.
And that's when I realized that's what I wanted to do.
And
So that's how I
unlocked-
ended up in
That
criminal
unlocked the
justice.
interest right there.
Yeah.
Very quickly, before time runs out, because we can get you back some other time, but I just want people to get to know you. Very quickly, what kind of challenges do you think the city faces now?
Well, you know, Winston-Salem is not unlike any other city. Right now, you saw what just recently happened in Las Vegas. So we're still dealing with, that it will continue to be an issue, domestic terrorism. In addition to that, right now, recruiting and retention is a big issue for us, just like it is for other agencies across the country. And a lot of that has to do with the negative perception of law enforcement right now, since some of the issues that have occurred.
And that's
regarding law
unfortunate
enforcement.
because I don't care what industry you're in. There are good plumbers and bad plumbers. There are good architects and bad architects. There's some good cops and bad cops. But I mean, overwhelmingly, there's great cops who just want to serve, right?
And absolutely, absolutely. And I'm blessed enough to be able to work shoulder to shoulder with some of the most professional law enforcement officers and employees in the country, and
they're
protecting
lucky.
and serving the
They're
greatest
lucky
citizens.
they're lucky to be under your guidance too.
Thank
And
you.
Congratulations
Thank you.
once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here, and I appreciate the work that you do in our community.
Thank you. Will you come back sometime?
Absolutely.
All right, Katrina Thompson, new police chief, Winston-Salem.
Thank
We'll be
you.
right back after this. Now on Triad Today, and I always like to let my alma mater status slip out once in a while once in a while, rah, 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 that kind of thing. Class of 76, UNCG. So I'm always proud to have somebody from UNCG here on the show, a comrade in arms. Lori Bates, our director. Let's meet the very lovely Nancy Dahl, what an appropriate name, director of Weatherspoon Art Museum at UNCG. Welcome, dear. How
Thank
doing?
you, Jim.
You've done great things over there.
Well, thank you.
And I hear, I think you sent me an email, or somebody did, and said that it's your 75th birthday, but you don't look a day over 30.
Well,
That's-
thank you. I
that's an art
appreciate
museum.
that.
Yeah, it's an art museum joke. So, no, but it is. You have this exciting, Weatherspoon has this exciting anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
What is that all about?
75 years old. Well, we're the oldest art organization in the university system.
Right.
We're the second oldest in the state of North Carolina after the Mint. And we have had a wonderful, wonderful year, starting off with the first toast on January 7th.
You had a lot of events.
Oh, we've had a lot of events, yeah. And then we kind of concluded, although we're still doing programming, with our big 75th anniversary gala on October 1st, which was a huge success.
That's what I heard. Now, people say, oh, well, is the anniversary over? It's really not. I mean, you're continuing to celebrate. And so I have two sort of spin-off questions from the fact that this is ongoing and we're celebrating. One is, how is it affecting all the great things you've done this year to celebrate? How is it affecting attendance, and how is it affecting financial support?
Our attendance is up 12% this year.
Wow.
Which is pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
And financially, we were able to raise money to support our 75th anniversary activities over the course of the year from a number of foundations: Weaver, FM Kirby, Hillsdale Fund, Arts Greensboro, and the Joseph M. Bryan Foundation.
So not even coming from taxpayer dollars, it's coming from foundations, private donors, whatever.
Absolutely.
Here's a tough question I'm going to ask it anyway. And I know you're impartial, but what do you think the museum's legacy is, not just the UNCG, but the whole community?
Well, I like to call the Weatherspoon the little gallery that could. And so we've started out from a small teaching gallery to a full-fledged museum that is nationally accredited, that has a very strong impact in the region and is now nationally and even internationally because we lend works to exhibitions abroad.
Oh yeah, it's really on the map. Now, there's something I don't quite understand, so you'll have to help me with this, but you started a collaboration with Revolution Mill.
That's right.
What's that all about?
Well, Revolution Mill, as they were doing their rehab, wanted to put in a gallery space, and the head of that project, Nick Piomek, who you've maybe interviewed yourself, came to me and said, you know, we were thinking the Weatherspoon would be the right fit for us.
Oh, okay.
So we had a number of conversations, and it evolved, and our first project is up there right now, which is called Articulate by James Marshall. It's a painting installation from floor to ceiling, and it's very dynamic.
I bet.
So we hope to continue working with them to do maybe 3 projects a year.
Because that's a great space.
Oh, it's a fabulous space.
And it's sort of like a satellite version of the Weatherspoon, isn't
Well,
it?
it is, and as the mill gets more, as that whole campus gets more and more populated, I think we'll be seeing more and more people gravitating to the gallery space.
The final thing I want to ask you is about something you put in an email to me one day, and I wanted to know exactly what you meant. You said, and
Okay.
I'm going to read this, and I don't have my glasses, so I hope I don't mess it up. You said that we collect and exhibit the art of our time.
That's right.
What does that mean?
Well, it means we're always collecting contemporary art. You know, contemporary art becomes modern art after a while, but we're always collecting the art that is being made right now. And in fact, we have an exhibition up right now called Decade by Decade, Art Acquired in Its Time, and it's kind of walk through history of works that were acquired in the decade in which they were made.
Wow.
So it shows how kind of prescient we were and making some very important acquisitions.
Now, is that going to be up for a while, or is it permanent?
It's
or?
up till January.
Okay. Well, I hope people will go out and see that. And speaking of which, here's a couple of websites. The general one, of course, is uncg.edu for all sorts of information about the university, but specifically weatherspoon.uncg.edu, I think it's correct.
That's right.
And that will tell you about all the exhibits. And to Nancy Dahl, thank you again for all the great things you're doing for the community.
Thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
It's a pleasure.
We'll be right back after this. Oh, back now on Triad Today, but before we get to the round table, just a quick plug. If you're interested in reading my column this week, it's about the Boy Scout, Girl Scout controversy. It's in Yes Weekly. Pick up a copy. And now to the round table. On my right, but always the political left, that man about town, award-winning sportscaster, journalist, and broadcaster and everything, Ogie Overman. Next to him is the chairman of Forsyth County Commissioners, longtime broadcaster and friend, Dave Plyler. And next to Dave is straight from the set of Miami Vice, Keith Granberry's growing a beard, and he's a founder of Helping Hands Consultants and World Traveler. Okay, guys, the Supreme Court will rule soon on whether a Colorado baker can refuse to make wedding cakes for gay couples. The baker says it's against his religious beliefs. The gay couple says he's violating his civil rights. What's going to happen in this Supreme Court ruling, Ogie?
I fear that the homophobe Baker might win because the Republicans stole the Supreme Court seat, and they'll probably rule the wrong way.
David,
Do you really believe that?
I really do, yeah.
Really?
what are you asking? What part are you asking? Does he
course they
believe
stole it. Yeah,
that they
of
stole
course
it,
they
or
stole
that the guy's going to win?
I don't know if the guy's going to win or not. That's not a political answer. I just don't know.
Keith,
First of all, if somebody doesn't want to do it, I would number one, I would shame them, and then I would go and get my case. Even if I won, I still wouldn't buy.
I'd go somewhere else. Go somewhere else. Why go somewhere if you're not wanted? A Wyoming man who's now a transgender woman last week raped a 10-year-old girl in a bathroom. Guys, is this going to start a firestorm where there's a rally cry for HB2 type laws to be enacted across the nation? Ogie.
Well, again, I fear the worst because, this is about the worst thing that could happen. They'll take one isolated incident and then use it to say, well, they're all,
They all do that.
all transgender people are rapists and
Yeah. Dave, what do you think?
I don't think it'll start anything. That's been going on since time immemorial. It has. It's unfortunate.
Isolated incidents. Keith.
They're going to use this on every commercial and every ad that the Republicans do in targeted areas.
Like Willie
Again,
Sutton, wasn't it?
in
Willie
Horton.
Sutton.
Willie Horton.
Horton,
Yeah.
Willie
like
Horton,
Willie
yeah.
Horton.
Yeah.
Time and again.
And
Over and over.
yeah, I agree with you. An 11-year-old Colorado boy was kicked out of his Cub Scout troop last week because he asked a visiting congresswoman why she didn't vote for gun control. It embarrassed the scout leader, so the boy was kicked out. Now, here's the question. Should he sue the Cub Scout troop and its sponsor? Or are you okay with the troop's decision? Ogie.
No, I kind of admire the kid. I would like to follow this kid and see how he turns out. He'd probably be a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, yeah, Dave.
We live in America. He's 11 years old. He can ask any question he wants.
Yeah, I won't be able to answer him, but he can ask whatever he... Keith, what do you think?
He can ask any questions. I mean, if Boy Scouts are now admitting girls, I mean, what can't they ask?
Speaking of gun control, the NRA donates millions of dollars to congressional campaigns every year, every few years, including giving Senator Richard Burr $7 million during his last campaign. Guys, given the NRA's influence, is it likely that we'll see any gun reforms, even after the Vegas tragedy, any gun reforms before the 2018 election? Ogie.
No, this is another dark topic, Jim. I mean, they've got a stranglehold on America. The NRA owns America. It's a sad situation.
Mr. Plyler.
I'm not really sure that the NRA will cease being the powerhouse it is in the immediate future, but someday, what goes around comes around.
Keith.
I mean, Vegas was a tragedy, but there are thousands of people getting killed every day in neighborhoods across the community, and nothing has been done, and nothing will be done.
With guns.
With guns,
yeah.
absolutely.
All right, last week, guys, at a rally in New Jersey, the crowd shouted 4 more years to Barack Obama. That begs the question, should the Constitution be amended to allow presidents to run for more than 2 terms? Ogie.
Until now, I would have said no. if he's the only guy that can beat President Bush or President Ryan, I would say.
So you'd like to see Obama run against Trump?
After Trump is impeached, either Pence or Ryan.
Yeah, that's right. Dave.
Well, you learn from history. We had one president who died during his 3rd term, and then we changed the Constitution.
Yep. Keith.
Can we change it to have presidents have only 2 years?
No.
1 year.
2
1
terms.
year.
Hey, speaking of politics, a Republican woman running for Congress in Florida says she was abducted by aliens when she was 7 years old, and ever since they communicate with her telepathically. Guys, would you vote for someone who says she has been abducted by aliens? Ogie.
Well, as wacky as that sounds, there's going to be some candidates that Bannon is going to put up some of these alt-right Looney Tunes that will have ideas that are as crazy
And
as
they'll
that.
win.
And some of them will win.
Dave.
This woman is in perfect harmony with Washington and Raleigh.
Because she's spaced out?
She believes in things that maybe come true, maybe won't come true.
Well, I believe in aliens. I've never been abducted, though. Not by aliens, but Keith abducted me one day. Keith, go
I did
ahead.
not abduct you.
No, Keith.
There are aliens right now in
Yeah.
the House and the Senate.
Yeah.
Right now. So, yes, she should get elected Vice President of the United
All right,
States.
before we run out of time, before we run out of time, Halloween's almost here. Quickly, guys, tell me what your favorite Halloween costume was as a little kid. Ogie.
Strange. Honestly, I don't remember. I didn't really start dressing up for Halloween until I was an adult.
But you dress up now.
Oh, I kill it.
Dave, you remember dressing as anything? Or
I do. The Lone Ranger rides again.
you were the Lone Ranger.
Brought to you by Marita Bread.
Well, you did an advertisement just like that at 8 years old. Dave Plyler, you know, Marita Bread, Keith.
My mother made me James Bond. She put on a church suit and sent me out there and said, "This is your
Wow. Well, you're sort of James
Yeah,
Bond.
James Bond, man.
You could
So
be the.
She made me feel like I was James Bond.
Yeah, you could be James
That's
Bond.
right.
Yeah.
That was my outfit.
So you were suave even
I
then.
was suave even then.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's cool. Well, Ogie, I don't want to know what you're dressing up as this year because
I might dress up next week as I'll
Yeah.
just leave my costume on.
That's
for a
right.
day.
All right, guys, we hope everybody has, that's all the time we have. Oh, except for this. A man in England says his married life is so miserable that he's been living in the woods outside his home for the past 5 years. Asked why he didn't just get a divorce, the man said, "What? And risk losing my favorite tree in the settlement?" See, it's a woman will take everything.
I get it.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Brought to you by Marita Bread.
Everything. Everything.
All right, for all of us here at the Triad Today, I'll see you next time.